Hello, Browse. We're back with new book arrivals number, and I'm not sure what number it is. It's like 276, something like that. But let's get on with it. Should I turn on this light? Not sure I need it. Let's see if I need it. Do I need it? Kind of. A very short introduction Oxford series. I have many of these books, not many. I've sold a bunch, so I don't know how many I actually have. This is Beauty and Art Theory. They're generally a $5 book and minimum, so if I can get them for 50 cents, I will always buy them. Mostly they're unread. I believe they're for a college class, usually, and then people just never read them. Then they donate them, and they're almost always in great shape. Rare is the occasion when they're not. What year were these from? Guessing like the 15s. No, 2001. Space Odyssey. Anyway, two more of those I have. F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Last Tycoon, The Love of the Last Tycoon. I've never read any F. Scott Fitzgerald, so I probably should. What is this? Is like an unofficial book published after his death. No other Fitzgerald related Brucali has done. No other Fitzgerald related work Brucali has done is likely. Has done. Am I reading this wrong? Has done is likely to be an important. No other Fitzgerald related work has done is likely. How the hell could you put that on a back cover of a major publication? Has done is likely. Brucali has done. All right, that makes more sense. Maybe you should read it, right? Anyway, I don't know anything about this book. The Love of the Last Tycoon, edited by the preeminent Fitzgerald scholar Matthew J. Brucali, is a restoration of the author's phrases, words, and images that were excised from the 1940 edition, giving new luster to an unfinished literary masterpiece. It is the story of the young Hollywood mogul Monroe Starr, who was inspired by the life of the boy genius Irving Thalberg, and is an expose of the studio system in its heyday. The love of available for the first time in paper. Maybe I will put this on my to read list since I've never read any F. Scott Fitzgerald. Read a lot of Hemingway, who was a sometimes bro of him. Leo Tolstoy, What is Art? Obviously, this is some kind of reissue tissue. Aylmer Maud's translation of Tolstoy's classic treatise on the emotionalist theory of art was the first unexpurgated version of the work to appear in any language, and it did so with Tolstoy's approval. While he was struggling with the Russian censors, a century later, the work remains, as Vincent Thomas observed, one of the most rigorous attacks on formalism and on the doctrine of art for art's sake ever written. Maud's translation remains preeminent, and Thomas's introduction makes this the edition of choice for students of aesthetics and for anyone whose interests are primarily philosophical. All right, we get the gist. What year was this republished? So originally published 1896, reprinted 1996. So basically 100 years after. Gisting. And The Borden Murders. Lizzie Borden and the Trial of the Century by Sarah Miller. Paid 99 cents for this bad boy. Did Lizzie do it? And if not, who did? It is August 4th, 1892, and when Lizzie Borden calls frantically for help, the maid and the neighbors come running to the Borden home in Fall River. Is it Fall River? Fall River, Massachusetts. There they find Lizzie's father, Andrew Borden, lying murdered in the family's sitting room. Soon after, the body of Lizzie's stepmother, Abby, is discovered upstairs. As the minutes give way to hours, one person rises to the top of the list of suspects, Lizzie herself. But how could a mild-mannered young woman from a prominent family be an axe murderer? With period photos, newspaper clippings, and an image from the crime scene, this is a true story that will have you asking the same question that baffled the nation over a century ago. Did Lizzie Borden kill her parents? Let's find the crime scene. If we can. There we go. Cut this out and keep it. There's the house. Nice hair. Is that little Lizzie? Oh, that's Emma Borden. There's Lizzie. Lizzie does look a bit insane, quite frankly. This book looks like it has water exposure too. Where's the frickin' crime scene? Let's see any crime scene photo here. I'm stupid and missed it. No, it's not in there. The hell is it? We want the crime scene photo. Oh, there it isn't. Look at Lizzie. She does look insane. There's the axe, the hoodoo hatchet. Seems almost impossible that you can murder a bunch of people with an axe, unless you did it like room to room and they were sleeping. There we go. Abby Borden's body photographed on the afternoon of August 4th, 1892. So apparently she hit her from behind. Or she rolled off the bed, one of the two. Was she decapitated? I don't know. Anyway. Frida McFadden, if you thought she was gone, the axe, think again. There she is, in the fucking mirror. This is an absolute must-read. Just go out and read this book. Goodreads. There you go. There's your first mistake, believing Goodreads. Cassie thinks she has met the perfect man. Joel is sweet, handsome, romantic, and best of all, he's crazy about Cassie. She thinks she's found the guy she'll spend the rest of her life with, have children with, grow old with. Yes, she knows about his perfect ex-girlfriend, Francesca, the beautiful, brilliant chef, beloved by all his friends, but she thinks Francesca is out of the picture. She thinks Francesca is gone for good. Think again, Cassie. I won't dignify your question. What's your name? Gunzuko. What's it look like, Gunzuko? I'll give you one guess what that is. I know it's difficult, but I'll give you one guess. A masterpiece of contemporary American fiction, Demon Copperhead captures the heart as it evokes a young hero's unforgettable journey to maturity in the mountains of southern Appalachia. Obviously, this book is very popular, but I mean, just reading the first paragraph makes you know it's going to be a piece of shit. First, I got myself born. A decent crowd was on hand to watch, and they've always given me that much. The worst of the job was up to me, my mother being, let's just say, out of it. On any other day, they'd have seen her outside on the deck of her trailer home, good neighbors, taking notice, pestering the tit of trouble as they will, all through the dog breath air of late summer and fall. Cast an eye up the mountain, and there she'd be, little bleached blonde, smoking her Pall Malls, hanging on the railing like she's captain of her ship up there, and now might be the hour it's going down. This is an 18-year-old girl we're discussing, all on her own, and as pregnant as it gets. You don't know what this is? I don't know. I don't like your bullshit, buddy. I've read the first chapter of this book somewhere on this channel, but it was or forgettable, actually. I mean, what do you expect? It's coming from a 70-year-old liberal woman. You know, it's got no fucking chance of being good. I got back in time to say a few things, all stupid. If she needed anything, she could let me know. I could read the whole book like that. Let me start it again. Maybe I changed my mind. I wrote the Poisonwood Bible, Pigs in Heaven, Animal Dreams, for the survivors. 1. First, I got myself born. A decent crowd was on hand to watch, and they've always given me that much. The worst of the job was up to me. My mother being, let's just say, out of it. All right, still sucks. Understanding the Exodus and other mysteries of Jewish history. I know how people love the Jews right now, so I'm picking up as many books on Jewish people as I can. What is the Exodus anyway? The Exodus. About this book, Understanding the Exodus, all and other mysteries of Jewish history explains how the fundamental concepts of the Jewish religion originated and how they evolved and changed over time. The law of Moses is the core of the Jewish religion, and understanding its origin is necessary to put further historical developments into perspective. The influence of other cultures on Judaism and the influence of Judaism on other religions, particularly Christianity, are described. This book also explains how Judaism spread from the Middle East into Eastern Europe. Are you falling for what? Falling for anything, buddy, but I am reading this book about Herzl as I remember him. Herzl was the founder of Zionism, so you might want to check in on that one. Ganzuko. I'm going to read this entire book. I already read the first 4 sections, so tune in because I know you want to hear some more about Judaism. Sigmund Freud, The Interpretation of Dreams, translated by Dr. A. Brill. I didn't know Freud wrote in German. Exclusively. Does that say Fectors? Flecteri. C. Nequio Supros. Acaranta Movebo. Nice modern library edition. Herzl, you will not be locked in with this. Rabbit Moon by Jennifer High, I assume. A novel coming in April 2025. This is an advanced reading copy, so hopefully I can sell it for like $20. But we'll see. What is it about? I hope you enjoy Rabbit Moon. With all good wishes, Jennifer High. Dear reader, in the wee hours of a Sunday morning in the financial district of Shanghai, a young American woman is found unconscious on the sidewalk, critically injured by a hit-and-run driver. This is the setup for my 7th novel, Rabbit Moon. Lindsay Litvak is 22, a college dropout who finds work teaching English in China. Estranged from her parents, she has built a new life in Shanghai. Fleeing a complicated past for her American family, the accident sets off a chain of shocking events. Stranded at summer. Now we're back at summer camp. Her little sister Grace, adopted as an infant from an orphanage in China, reckons with questions about her own history. At the hospital in Shanghai, their parents come face to face for the first time since their acrimonious divorce. That sounds like a real pot boiler. What's your favorite food to eat? I eat price stickers. That's my favorite food. We'll cook those up in sesame seed oil. The Principles of Art by R.G. Collingwood. Rather nice looking book, even though it's not worth very much. This treatise on aesthetics begins by showing that the word art is used as a name not only for art proper, but also for certain things which are art falsely so called. These are craft or skill, magic, and amusement, each of which by confusion with art proper generates a false aesthetic theory. In the course of attacking these theories, the author criticizes various psychological theories of art, offers a new theory of magic, and reinterprets Plato's so-called attack on art, showing that it has been entirely misunderstood. Finally, he draws important inferences concerning the position of art in human society. Magic, huh? Odd. 2015 Moon Sign book by Llewellyn. Conscious Living by the Cycles of the Moon. Obviously, a decade out of date, but for anybody who'd like to go back and revisit. Jeez. Weekly Almanac, your guide to lunar gardening and good timing for activities. Such a nice little girl in our cabbage. Who's she? What's different about the Moon Sign book? Readers have asked why Llewellyn's Moon Sign book says that the moon is in Taurus, when some almanacs indicate that the moon is in the previous sign of Aries on the same date. It's because there are two different zodiac systems in use today, the tropical, and the sidereal. Llewellyn's Moon Sign book is based on the tropical zodiac. The tropical zodiac takes 0 degrees of Aries to be the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. This is the time and date when the sun is directly overhead at noon along the equator, usually about March 20th to 21st. The rest of the signs are positioned at 30-degree intervals, from this point. All right, that's interesting. The Common Stream, 2,000 years of the English village. What's this on here for? The settling in the village of Foxton in Cambridgeshire. And the Common Stream is the story of its development from the first traces of human settlement to the present day. The Common Stream is also the rivulet that runs through it, both ordinary in its appearance and enjoyed by all. And yet again, the Common Stream is that of the ordinary men and women who in their countless thousands have trudged through life and then departed from it, leaving no visible trace. Roland Parker spent 13 years with oral reminiscences, manor court rolls, land tax returns, wills, and archaeological excavation, and has found out more about the history of Foxton than is known about any other village of like age in England, or even the rest of the world. Sounds interesting, even though England is no longer England. 1491, Charles Mann, New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus. I don't know if this is part of the 1491 project or seems not to be. Let's see when it was written. I would say no, since it was written in 2005. This is just the history of America before Columbus. Mary Baker Eddy, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. Obviously, it's got his little slipcase. It's in decent shape. It's got some fucking hair on it. Hopefully it's worth more than $2. I assume it is. That's why I bought it. Okay. I think I might have this book actually, just without the slipcase. The Golem of Brooklyn, a novel. What is this? This novel could not be any funnier or any more important. It's a devastating romp through history, a bonkers road trip through America, and a searing examination of the question that will determine our future. How do we confront those who hate us, and at what cost? W. Camus Bell. Adam Mansbach, latest, did not push me the fuck to sleep. Quite the opposite. This is the update to the Golem legend I've been dreaming of since I survived Jewish day school. Run, don't schlep to the nearest bookstore and get ready to split your kishkas laughing. Jewish humor goes back a long way. And to a pantheon that includes Brooks, Bruce, Seinfeld, and David. That's your fucking basis of Jewish humor? Seinfeld? Come on now. And I was going to say, like, Moses was a funny guy. But no, he mentioned Seinfeld. That's really going far back, buddy. Fast-paced and full of memorable characters. Well, I didn't know it was a comedy. I guess I could have read the front cover. But since I collect books on the Golem, here we are. It's in great shape. To say the least. Do dead people watch you shower? And other questions you've been all but dying to ask a medium. Conchetta Bertoldi. Is that the chick from the TV show? No. To be honest, are predictions made in every reading? To be honest, I'd have to say not always. But it really depends on what question the client brings to me. Sometimes, very often, the client just wants to make a connection. But others might want to know, am I going to get married? Will I have a baby? Those kinds of predictions are very common and often are offered by the spirit, even if they aren't asked. They'll also say things like that my client is in good health and will live a long life, a more general prediction, but certainly valuable to know. Or they'll know that my client is going on a trip somewhere, and they'll tell them that they will be safe while traveling. It can get rid of a lot of worry. Or they might say you're going to have twins, and I guess that could cause some worries. Very uninteresting sounding, but I got it because it's a medium. The Assassination of Lincoln, obviously, Barnes & Noble book. Myth and History and Myth. And look, there's the original receipt. This is from 10/25/05. So 20 years ago. Looks in pretty good shape for 20 years. 20 years old. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure other books are better sources of Lincoln, but this is just a kind of breezy read through the history of Lincoln without having to read 73 books. One newspaper, 7 days, and the truth that shocked the world. Titanic. From New York, Monday, April 15th, 1912. The Titanic sank at 2:20 this morning. No lives were lost. Au contraire, brava. Brava. It's weird that most books on the Titanic are in like this format, where it's just clippings and stuff. Is this all clippings? What newspaper is this? The London Daily Telegraph of relaying exactly what had happened to the luxury liner. But with false reports abounding and no access to survivors, the task was easier said than done. So this is basically just the London Times. Daily Telegraph, pardon, deciphering what happened as the weeks went along, I'm guessing. It's actually an interesting take. And then we end up with 2 yearbooks from the Flight, which is Edsel Ford High School, Dearborn, Michigan. Couldn't really beat the price for 99 cents. Busy future, busy. Soloist Barbara Nelson poses with a prop used in her role as a photographer's model in Opportunity Knocks. It's like a ski. Pulling out the bleachers. Holy shit, I forgot all about some schools used to have those. I wonder if they still do. Forgot about that. There were bleachers pulling out. What year was this? Hard to believe that 1962, you went from kids looking to that to wearing fucking shorts in the winter. I mean, what a stupid generation we have going on. Yeah, wear shorts and t-shirts in the winter. These are dressed like fucking business casual. And you wonder why people say, hey, the fuck is that phrase? On God. I mean, the dumbest generation that's ever existed. By far. Actually, it do be that way. It be that way. Fucking idiot generation. Anyway. Flight, what is it, 61 or 3? 61. Edsel Ford High School. Gary Neep. Leo Kopis. Ed Horvath. Gene Hahn. Charles Hudson. Look at that fucking curly Q going there on Raymond Gosnell. A lot of grandma glasses on these girls. It's pretty stylish, honestly. What are those? Basala. Mod. Hey, there's my mod glasses. Guys all seem to have just regular glasses. Girls have the fashion glasses. Fruit-O-Matic, what is that? Making use of the school's fruit machine are 10As Kay Jackson, Barbara McConnell, and Marilyn Wilson. Holy shit, it's a machine that just has fruit. I want a Fruit-O-Matic. What's that say? Refrigerated Fruit-O-Matic. Wonder if those still exist. I want a Fruit-O-Matic. The Fruit-O-Matic. I need to save that page. That's brilliant. The Fruit-O-Matic. What page is this? I will put the card in there. I gotta look up the Fruit-O-Matic. All right, that's all. Goodbye, bruv.